In this video, I'm going to talk about comp data, which is the tab where we aggregate all of the comps that we've collected across our collector tabs. We've made a number of improvements on this tab, and I want to walk you through them. The first thing is when you bring the comps over, they are deduped. But we've actually created two different deduping models for you. We've got what we call strong dedupe and weak dedupe, and there's a difference. And if you just put your cursor over the black where it says black deduping, it actually gives you a little guide right here as to what the differences are. So if you forget this video, it's right there. But essentially, if you have a county where the properties have street addresses, you'll want to use strong dedupe. What that's doing is it's looking at the price, the acres, and the address. And if all three of those match, then it's saying that's a duplicate and it's going to remove the duplicate. If you have the same price and the same acreage, but there's a difference in the address, it's going to assume that those are two different properties. Now, sometimes when you pull data in from Realtor or Zillow, you might pull the same property on both of those sites, and they might show the address as different. In that case, they'll still both show up. When you use weak dedupe, on the other hand, it's only looking at price, acreage, and the zip code. And so you would use that in counties where you don't have a street address. So, for example, in Colorado, they don't assign a street address until you put a building on a property. So a lot of times the land doesn't have a street address, but we do know the zip code. In that case, if it sees that there is the same price, acreage, and zip code, it's still going to bring in both of them in here because we don't really know if they're dupes or not. And it's going to highlight it for sure in yellow so you can easily find them. And then you can go and open up the links to see if they're actually dupes or not. One of the really big improvements we made on this version is that when you bring the comps into comp data, you're going to get the link as well. So you don't actually have to go back to the source or to the collector tabs to see the property. You can just click on the link right here in comp data. So in the case of Yavapai, we do have addresses. So I'm going to use strong dedupe, and I'm just going to click on import comps, and it's going to import all of them from Zillow, Realtor, and Lands of America. All right, it brought in 678 comps with a median price of $16,101. Now, anything that's for sale, remember all the Zillow we brought in was for sale. So it's discounting those by 25%, but if you want your for sale comps to not be discounted at all, you can put a 0 there. Whatever you think is the right number. If you think 20% is there, you can do 20%. It'll only change the value of the for sale comps. It will not do anything to your sold comps because those are good comps. And one of the things I always like to do at this point is I'll go ahead and sort it by price per acre. And if there are any duplicates, then they'll show up together in yellow. Let's see, there may or may not be. Hopefully we deduped most of them automatically. Now I'm just going to carefully go up here because sometimes what happens is exactly what I see here. So I see 1, 2, 3, 4. I see 4 properties that have the same price per acre, and I see that they've got the same acreage, the same price, and the same zip code. So again, over in the black column, I'm going to have a street address. So this one says 0 name Ruger Ranch. This one says 0S Ruger Ranch. And this one, interestingly, says 3094 South Quail. Sometimes the only way to really know if it's a duplicate is to look at it. So I'm going to open these up. Now I know these two are duplicates already, but I'm just going to look at some of these pictures and I'm going to see it. And notice here it says Rocky Top and Seligman. It doesn't even say what was in the other in the primary page of the ad. Okay, so that's what that one looks like. Let's look at the next one. It should be the same pictures. And those do not look like the same pictures. Interesting. So maybe that's not a duplicate. Let's just open up these pictures and see if there's any others that look similar.
maybe this is not a duplicate. And this happens sometimes. You know, you'll be on the same road and there'll be two 40-acre properties at the same price. Could be owned by the same person. And let's see, here's the third one. And this is Juniper Ranch. This actually looks like it's probably different too. So I think these are actually, they may be different properties. Let me look at something else. Oops, let's look at one other thing too. So on the first one, I'm going to open this up and I just want to see who's offering it. So this is being offered by Chuck Dishman. And this one, Chuck Dishman. And this one, Western Land. So this third one is definitely different. However, the first two are offered by the same person, and when I look at the address here, it looks like it's the same. So I'm going to assume that one of them is a dupe, and I'm going to get rid of one of them. Now, all we have to do, and it's really easy, you don't have to do all of this like we used to have to do, where we went around 4, and then we did a right click and a delete cells and a shift. You don't have to do any of that anymore. All you have to do is select the row and delete it. Boom, done. All right, I think the rest of those are okay. So you still need to look through this and just be sure, but most of the dupes have already been removed. The other thing is that if the property in your collector tab doesn't have both a price and an acreage, it doesn't come across. So if you don't want something to come over here, all you have to do in any of the tabs is just go ahead and delete it, and it won't come across over into comp data. One other really important thing here in comp data is that you can actually bring in more data now that you've brought this in. So let's just say in Lands of America, you only want to do sold comps or for sale comps. You don't want to do mix and match them in the same process. So in this case, we pulled in sold comps for Land of America. Now that they're over here in comp data, you can go back to Lands of America and do for sale comps, and then click import comps again, and it will add them to this list. It doesn't replace the list, it adds them. So you can add more data in here by scraping multiple times. And that's very, very powerful, and that's a technique that we use in the Master Your Pricing class at land.mba. If you want to remove everything and start fresh, then you click the red clear data button and it'll clear everything out and you can get a fresh start. And that's all there is to talk about in comp data. I wish you good luck.